Chapter 2 Information. Time flowed like sand, slipping silently through fingers. In the blink of an eye, 12 years had passed. In one corner of the vast city, a bustling market had come alive. Today was unlike any other day. Streets that were usually crowded were now overflowing, voices rising and clashing like waves. The reason was simple yet extraordinary. An auction was about to begin. This was no ordinary auction. According to long-circulating rumors, this grand event appeared only once every 20 years. Each time, it chose a different location, as if guided by an invisible hand of fate. No one knew where it would surface next, and no one dared to miss it once it did. This time, destiny had chosen this city. Hidden treasures, rare pills, ancient artifacts, and cultivation resources beyond imagination were said to appear. For cultivators, this auction represented opportunity. For others, it represented hope or despair. On the opposite side of the city, far from the noisy market, stood a lone boy. He was 12 years old. The boy's name was Junlin. He stood quietly at the edge of a forest, where tall trees cast long shadows across the ground. The distant noise of the city barely reached this place. His posture was relaxed, yet his presence carried a strange stillness, as though the world around him moved at a different pace. Junlin's eyes were calm, too calm for a child his age. Within those dark pupils, something unusual flickered, something far deeper than innocence. It was not arrogance, nor fear, but a quiet awareness, as if he had already seen far more of the world than he should have. Nearby, several cultivators had gathered, their voices low but animated. Junlin stood not far from them, pretending to be absorbed in the forest while silently listening. If someone wants to open a blocked meridian, one cultivator said, his tone serious, they'll need at least a mid-grade pill. Anything lower is useless. Junlin's fingers tightened slightly at his side. A blocked meridian. He had heard these words countless times over the years. They were like a shadow that followed him wherever he went. While other children trained, cultivated, and dreamed of becoming powerful, Junlin had been forced to watch from the sidelines. Not because he lacked talent, but because his meridians were sealed. To cultivators, blocked meridians were a cruel sentence. Without opening them, one could never truly step onto the path of cultivation. Strength, longevity, and freedom all remained forever out of reach. Junlin lowered his gaze, his expression unchanged, but his thoughts churned quietly. Mid-grade pills have a substituent that is high-level cleansing liquids. In the city, rumors spread like drifting smoke. Some people whispered that deep within the forest lived a terrifying beast. It resided inside a dark cave hidden far from human paths. Within that cave existed something priceless, a rare, cleansing liquid capable of opening blocked meridians. Yet despite its value, no one dared to seek it. The beast guarding it was simply too powerful. At the edge of the city stood a young boy, quietly watching the sky. Every time he saw cultivators soaring above the clouds, his heart stirred. They flew freely through the heavens, moving like the wind itself. To him, they seemed omnipotent, able to do whatever they wished, unrestrained by fate or fear. That was the life he longed for. I want to become a cultivator too, he whispered. But reality was cruel. Each time he approached a sect with hope in his eyes, the result was the same. The elders barely spared him a glance before shaking their heads in disappointment. You are useless, they said coldly. Your meridian is blocked. Those words followed him like a curse. No matter how hard he tried, no matter how sincere his determination, the answer never changed. To the world of cultivation, he was nothing more than a failure. Yet deep within his heart, a flame still burned. I will definitely become a cultivator, he vowed silently. I will prove them wrong. When he heard of the cleansing liquid hidden in the forest, his resolve hardened. Others saw it as a death sentence. He saw it as his only chance. I am coming, he murmured, clenching his fists. As he stepped into the forest, the air grew heavy and damp. Towering trees blocked the sunlight, casting long shadows across the ground. Every rustle of leaves set his nerves on edge. This was no ordinary forest. It was a place where monsters and wild beasts roamed freely. Things did not go as smoothly as he had imagined. Along the way, he encountered terrifying creatures lurking in the darkness. Some growled from afar, while others watched him with glowing eyes hidden behind thick bushes. His heart pounded violently, but he did not turn back. Now, he moved carefully, controlling his breathing, making sure not to produce a single sound. Each step was slow and deliberate. Survival demanded silence. Without hesitation, he ventured deeper into the forest, toward the unknown, toward danger, fear, and destiny itself. Time slipped away unnoticed, and dusk quietly enveloped the city. Lanterns flickered to life one by one, casting soft golden light across the streets. By then, the auction had already begun. Inside the grand hall, silence reigned despite the large gathering. One rare treasure after another was presented on the stage. Glimmering gems, ancient artifacts, and mysterious objects whose origins were unknown. Each item stirred desire, yet no one spoke carelessly. The calm was unnatural, heavy with restraint, as if a single wrong move could shatter the fragile balance. Almost everyone in attendance wore a mask. Some were simple, others ornate, but all served the same purpose, to hide identity. In this place, revealing one's face was equivalent to exposing one's life. Whispers circulated among the crowd, for everyone knew the truth. This auction was hosted by a powerful sect within the kingdom. Its influence was vast, its methods ruthless. No one knew who truly stood behind it, nor did anyone dare to seek the answer. The auction's location was never fixed. Each time it appeared, it did so in a different place, chosen seemingly at random. This unpredictability ensured secrecy and safety. This time, however, the auction was held in a local area dominated by mortals, nearly 90% of the surrounding population. Because of this, a strict warning had been announced before the event began. No violence was allowed. No matter one's background, strength, or status, harming another person within the auction grounds was forbidden. Those who dared to break this rule would not be spared. The punishment, it was said, was far worse than death. As the hours passed, excitement gradually faded into quiet anticipation. The auctioneer finally raised his hand, signaling the arrival of the final item. At once, the atmosphere changed. Conversations ceased. Even breathing seemed to grow softer. This, the auctioneer announced slowly, is the last item. Servants carefully unveiled the object. A sharp metallic scent filled the air. It was a bloodstained bone. The bone was ancient, its surface marked by strange patterns and dried crimson traces that had long since darkened with age. It had been discovered deep within a forbidden land, far beyond the borders of the known world. That place was sealed, isolated from civilization, yet infamous among cultivators. Those who knew of it called it the foreign ground. Few had ever entered that land, and almost none had returned. It was said to be filled with unknown dangers, remnants of ancient beings, and secrets that defied reason. Even speaking of it was enough to instill fear. The moment the bone was revealed, the entire hall fell into shock. Behind countless masks, eyes widened and hearts raced. Anything that originated from the foreign ground was beyond valuable. It was priceless. Such items carried power, curses, and untold potential. Greed, fear, and disbelief collided within the crowd. How could something like this be sold? How could anyone possess it? As those questions echoed silently in their minds, the calm of the auction hall began to crack, hinting that the night was far from over.